Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Nashawn Jackson, and I'm decided to sit here and actually tell you guys a little bit, well, discuss my story. So, I've been documenting and doing recordings of and interviews of people that have been influential to my entrepreneur and real estate journey. I've been interviewing a few different people that have made an impact, that have actually brought some success stories and some things that I think is all important to share with people who possibly might be in that situation. So my name is Nashawn Jackson. I am a entrepreneur and a real estate investor and a filmmaker, right? So I wanted to give you guys some history on how this all came about. So originally, I am here born and raised in Chicago, South Side. I was the typical guy that went to school, got good grades, went to college, got a good job. I worked for the Chicago Transit Authority, and right in college, it was a good job having that type of job because it was stability. I was making more money than most of my friends in college. I kind of had a 25-year plan with CTA on how I was going to, how my life was going to go, planned out. But things began to change because the company changed, the time changed. Now, when I was in college, this was right during the crash in '08. Now, I wasn't really aware of this because at that time, being in college, it didn't affect me. Like I wasn't paying attention to the crash. I just knew certain stores were closing, and it was kind of interesting from that perspective. But what began to take place was the company was changing. Like, it was like, well, you used to be able to retire with 25 years and a day, but now, like, Sean, because you came in during this time, you gotta retire with age. And I'm like, wow, this is a long time to be there. So I became uncomfortable and a little bit irritated by that. Like the one of the things that I wanted to do is, growing up, I saw my aunt. She, in my mind, was the richest person I knew because she worked at CTA, right? And she was in management. So my mind, she was the person that I wanted to chase. Like, I wanted to chase my auntie. I wanted to, experience like her. When I got into the company, it was much different, and the route that they wanted me to take was just like, man, this is not really ideal. Like, I went to school, I got a degree. Why am I in this position? Why can't I move around, the flexibility? And it was teaching me corporate politics and just teaching me that, hey, these corporations work a certain way. I got laid off, which was great because I was looking for a way to get out of that job without disappointing my family. I got laid off. Now prior to this, I meet my beautiful wife. She was in college during the time. I meet her, and I'm just feeling this energy. It's just a refreshing energy to meet someone bright while I'm working at this job. I actually met her on a job, so I have nothing but good things to say about CTA because I met my wife there. Boom, I leave there. And I was blessed to go to Africa for 17 days with my wife and her girlfriends. That was a life-changing experience because I got laid off and then I went to Africa. So what a great experience to be shifting my mind and what I'm aware of. And when I was in Africa, I experienced a lot of wonderful things. I really recommend people of color go back to Africa and experience what it's like to be in that country and to understand the difference of being born here in the United States and being over there. When I got back home, all the things I've seen, the great experience I had, I was more or less really grateful that I was American. And more so that America is the greatest country because I have free market. And that was the thing that started to click in my mind that, Sean, if you're born here, man, you can make it. So all the dreams that you had before, they are truly possible because you are an American. Just off that alone. And it was just like, wow, like, okay. So boom, I began to really expand and dive into my passion, which is media, multimedia creations, film, photography, screenwriting, all of that, right? I never took a risk, guys. I was the guy, good grades, never been to jail, never took a risk. Like, I had the job. So now I'm not with this job and there's limited possibilities. I do have a bachelor's degree. I'm like, okay, there's so much I can do. My mind begins to turn and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But in this time frame, my wife, or girlfriend at the time, was supporting me. She's like, man, I believe in you. You can write. Don't worry about working. We'll be okay. Just pursue your passion. That was so huge because I'm from a background where, as a man, you have to take care of your bills and you're expected to do this and blah blah blah. And to have her support me during that time was just great. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I want to marry her. Like, this is like to support me this way. So we get plans to get married. I find a job working at a university in admissions. And it was so different from working at CTA, where I'm working customer service, then I'm working on the trains. But then now I'm working in admissions and I'm helping people enroll in college. Now, I know how important college is and school is, right? Obviously, but being able to talk to a variety of different people really increased my God-given talent of communication, because I'm talking to every different people. I'm talking to people from the South, people from New York, people from the East Coast, variety of people, all under one purpose, them trying to better themselves, right? And it was a great experience. The job taught me so much about myself, so much about my ability to communicate and my ability to help people. So I was really grateful for that. The people I met was good. I began to meet people that also was helped tuning my mind by sharing books like Think and Grow Rich or Black Choice and all of these different resources to let me know, like, hey, Sean, this is just like a stepping stone job. This is not like the end all be all, which at that point in time is kind of crazy, because I could have gotten really comfortable in that position. I was working downtown. I got Stacey Adams on. It was different from CTA because I was in that corporate environment that I wanted, that CTA couldn't provide me fast enough with. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I worked there for a number of years, absorbed information, but then I hit a interesting spot in my life, because I'm seeing the turnover in the company. I'm seeing my managers and people that I'm looking up to, they're experiencing a ceiling that I'm like, man, this guy is great. They're turning around this, and another. And I knew that, Sean, here you are again with another safe job. You're safe. You're not going to spread your wings. You're not going to move, I got married. I began to really have this urge to want to pursue my passion, because again, I've really never just really pursued it. So I was on medical leave. I come back from medical leave and I just heard God just tell me, like, the voice was just like, why are you wasting your time? I was there. I was trying to get implemented to go back. I'm gonna grind a little bit more. So I did something that I don't recommend a lot of people do. I walked away from my job, my 9-to-5 full-time job with benefits, working downtown, with no backup plan, to pursue my passion, because I believe that God, along with my work effort and ethics, that I was going to be able to make it. That was the faith, that was the belief I had in myself. Sean, you've never taken a risk. You can't fail. You got a degree. You can always go back. But man, like, you should swing for the fences. So boom. I quit my job. I started screenwriting. Now, coming from a visual artist to becoming a screenwriter, now I have to go and take my visual art and write it, man. I remember cutting English class to stay in an art class when I was in high school, so it was a very interesting time, but I was loving the aspect of creating a story and visualizing things, because I think that all of us are visual people, and getting that visual message is so important to tell and to help people, because people don't really read. A lot of people watch videos, YouTube, blah, 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 right? It was a greater way to exposing people and helping people. So I'm moving along. I'm writing scripts. Things are going well. But Sean is missing something very important. I am missing business acumen. I'm not a business person. I don't know anything about business. And not only do I not know anything about business, I've done some freelance work, but never nothing to a scale of understanding business. I started thinking about, okay, Sean, your talent is great, but man, if you don't have the business sense to match with your talent, you're going to get taken advantage of. You're going to be one of these guys that, looked around and all your royalties and all your money is gone because you didn't know what to do with it because you don't have business sense. So I'm stuck. Now, throughout this time frame, I'm witnessing my wife and her journey with real estate, which is completely different than mine. Right out of college, she had a job working with real estate investors and people that have financial wealth. I never really knew about wealth because to me, my aunt was the richest person that I knew. And when I was exposed to this family who was giving my wife a job and seeing that they were black and they were wealthy and they had finances, it was like, wow, this is interesting. Like, this guy created this business and his daughter and his other daughter, and they're doing this, and my wife is watching them. But it was her thing. It was always her thing. She got to a certain point where in her real estate journeys where she's like, I need help. Like, I did this part, I couldn't get to this step, I couldn't get over this part. And I just felt obligated at the point in time to like help her because she had helped me. But it was a little bit, this sounds great, but let me break this down to you guys. I'm working, I take the train home, I get home, I've been talking to people all day, I don't want to do anything but watch my big 65-inch television. When I get home, what's on the TV? It is my wife watching HGTV. And she's watching so much of this. Like, I mean, we're watching 4 episodes, 5 episodes in. I'm like, man, we're not going to move to Ecuador. Why are we watching properties in Ecuador? And she was just so fighting me on it. So I knew this was her thing. So I was like, man, if I have to watch this, you have to watch football. Like, you need to, this is a trade-off. If I got to spend time watching this on a 65-inch, you're going to watch football with me. Touche, right? I'm here talking about real estate, and my wife knows what a zone and man defense looks like in football. So it was a great trade-off. I get to a point where I realize she needs help in this. The people that she learned from, the family she learned from, the alumni, they all had degrees in business, but I did not want to go back to a for-profit institution. I just didn't want to go back to college. Like, I got my degree. Someone asked me to write a paper, I'll slap them. Even though I'm screenwriting, writing stories, pages of stories, but asked me to write an essay for a project, I was like, no. So, Lord and behold, I was blessed. A friend of mine and a coworker had been stalking a couple, watching them for years in real estate investing, and finally jumped in and was like, hey man, I think you guys would benefit from this. So boom, I go check out these real estate courses. Now, working in an education, like working for a college and university, I understand the value of education and the curriculum and how people actually interpret information. So I'm already on board with education, and real estate is so serious. You want to make the right moves. You don't want to go and learn halfway. And my wife had begun to like take these little courses and get enough information, but not enough information to make her confident to move forward. So I'm like, man, we're wasting money and time. Like, let's figure this out. So, man, I remember going and meeting one of my mentors who was speaking there. Him and his wife. They've been married for a number of years, and the Wessels was speaking, and Perry mentioned something that I thought just was crazy. He was like, how much money do you need to make in order for you not to work? This was a crazy question because it never had been posed to me until this time. How much money did I need to make per month in order for me not to work? Guys, most people don't know this number. When I was working for CTA, people were talking about their pensions and retirement, and they got to work this many years at this end to average this out. It seemed like a lot of just crazy circumstances that a person was trying to figure out how much money at the end of their 25 years that they were going to make in order to retire. I had been hearing that all the time in a company that's based off seniority, but not really sitting back thinking about how much money did I need. So he showed these numbers on how much money a person needed to make, to have in the bank to live 25 years without working. And I was like, man, this is nobody. The percentage of people in the United States are working and past retirement age and don't have a retirement savings account. It was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. So it posed the question, how much money did I need to make? And then real estate came in. Like, well, what way can I make this money per month without actually being there? Real estate. Like, this is the only way that the average person in the country becomes wealthy or, get passive income, and so many people don't like the word wealthy, passive income, but getting passive income, this is money that's coming in every month. Rain, sleet, or snow is coming in every month, and it can be passed down. And this is money that you're making that you did not have to physically go and earn at that moment. This is a game changer, guys. Like, it just was a game changer to me. Like, wow, I'm making money while I sleep. Now my brain is like going off, boom, 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 boom. Like, oh my God, like, I have to buy this education. I have to figure this out now. Now it's about me helping my wife, but it's also about me like figuring some stability for myself, because again, I'm out here. Like, I am working freelance. I don't have a job. I have to make it work with what I said I was going to do when I quit my job. So my brain is fast on boom, 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 boom. I take the Renatus curriculum. This Renatus education curriculum changed my life. It gave me a good core, solid foundation of entrepreneurship and in regards to my taxes and how my income flowed. This was something that was on my mind when I was freelancing, doing graphic design, business cards and flyers and stuff like that. It was like, how do I put these things together? Boom. This is how you put these things together. It was streamlined. It was there for me to understand. So my mind is just kicking, and I'm just taking this information and directly applying it to what I'm currently doing and what I've been trying to figure out. That was the most impressive thing about the curriculum. Also, now I'm getting business acumen because I understand about entity structures, LLCs, S corporations, tax write-offs. I'm getting that information and it's applying directly to me now. This is changing the game. Now I'm understanding about real estate. I'm even understanding about my mom. Like, I've lived in one house my entire life. So when I hit 30 years old, I remember life really changed when I hit 30, because I was 30 years old, but I was broke, and all of my buddies were broke around me. It wasn't just me. Everybody around me had student loan debt. They were broke and trying to figure out what had went wrong. And we're angry at everybody because, like, hey, I went to school, I got good grades. Why am I not rich? That was like, why is this happening? This curriculum started to give me the keys to adding the real estate and building up the passive income and how wealth is built, while also understanding the business. So now I can add these things in to my pot of me already pursuing my passion, walking away from my job as a screenwriter to make films and videos and movies. But now I can apply this to help my wife and I can apply this to take care of my children and my mom. First thing I did was understood how mortgages and stuff worked. I helped my mom with her house and saved her mortgage, and got the banks to take off $15,000 that they had owed her from some transactions years ago that she didn't know how to do. It made me realize how many other single mothers are out here that's struggling, that don't know the knowledge of how to save themselves from the banks, because no one else is going to teach her this. The realtors not, the attorneys not, like what specialized knowledge is going to give this, and I possess that knowledge. So I immediately took action. That was the thing, guys. I absorbed the information that I received and was able to apply it directly because I was already trying to figure these things out. From there, I'm trying to get more, because I did the stuff with my mom, but I'm not making money. I'm starving out here. Like, I'm like, my God, like, I have to make some money. This real estate has to work, babe. We have to make this work. Wholesaling was, everybody tells you it's the easiest way. It's not. It's very challenging to do wholesaling. It revolves a lot of time, and if you're new, you do have that time to give, but there's some other pieces financially that you do have to be obligated to have. You have to have earnest money. You have to have a marketing budget. So many things that the experts don't really tell you while they're hyping it up. But once you get started, you're like, man, this is more than I thought. I was so attuned and so strong in my belief of what I and my wife could accomplish. I began to take those classes right away, absorb into it, boom, boom, boom. I'm ready to move. I'm taking all of this information, but I'm not moving fast enough because I'm missing something. I am around real estate investors and other people who were giving me information, but no one was really walking me through the process. No one was really holding my hand, partnering with me, telling me like, hey, this is how we're going to do this. Like, no one was locking that in, and I began to search for that. So I put it in the universe and prayed like, hey, I need you to bring me the person that I need to help me. I need a person that has the construction background. I need them to be an investor as well, because you guys will hear about this in other videos. In real estate, when you're doing real estate and fix and flips or any type of transaction, your contractor and how the construction gets done is so vital to how your profit and if you're going to make profit, how that really works. I started my own group outside of the group that we had originally created. We originally had learned from. And I started my own group, and we were learning, we were educating the community on South Side every Tuesday, teaching people this, just serving and giving a lot to our community. But I wasn't receiving anything, and I'm still broke. Like, I'm still dry without a job for over 2 years at this point in time frame. So I'm really motivated by starving and being broke, and I'm also motivated by my dream because, like, I know what I'm capable of doing. So, Lord and behold, my partner was recommended by another group just because they knew what Janae and I was doing and how we were operating. He came to check us out. He watched and observed everybody because he had experience. He and I got to talking. For me, I was so active during this time frame. I started Ubering because I'm driving for dollars. If you guys don't know what that is, this means you're driving around looking for sale signs, looking for abandoned properties. And a partner of mine was like, hey man, won't you Uber? I'll share my fee with you. We can, work something out or whatever the case may be. So I began to Uber. My first Uber ride is a military veteran that's looking to sell his house. And I remember engaging with him, getting close to him, getting his information, and boom, I know that this is a deal. Now, the people that's around me, no one's really able to kind of help structure this deal because we don't have money, and everybody's scared of contractors. It's just really, a good energy of people, but we lacking the knowledge and experience to help take us to the next level. Boom, Victor walks in. Victor Ramirez, I can kiss you and punch you sometimes, right? That's a joke, guys. He's my partner and been my mentor. And what Victor did was when he came in, he saw what we were doing, how we are operating, and then I brought him that deal. And I said, hey man, listen, this is the deal. I mean, come check out this property with me. Now, having someone that's seasoned and experienced with you in real estate is the most important aspect of doing a deal, besides the money, besides the credit, besides the property. You need someone that knows what they're doing in order to help this process become a lot smoother and a lot easier for you. I show him the deal. We walk through the property together. We go and sit in the car, and he looks at me. He says, "Brother, why haven't you done this deal?" I said, "Man, because I'm looking for the right people." He's like, yeah, I know, but why haven't you done this deal?" And I told him, I said, "Man, listen, I'm looking for a partner. I need help." And he looks at me. He's like, "Man, this is a no-brainer. Let's do it." So, lo and behold, we have this conversation, and this is what's so important about transparency, guys. I'm a big advocate of being transparent with everything that I do and how I operate, and I encourage you to do the same, especially in real estate, because the relationships and partnerships that it takes in order to be successful in real estate is surrounded by trust, integrity, and transparency. I sat at a Starbucks with Victor while we're going over the process of this deal. Now, because of the curriculum that I've taken, the Renatus education, my language matches with Victor. He understands me of being seasoned. Now, even though I don't have experience, because I have the knowledge and I have the language, it makes sense to him of what I'm saying and how we're going to structure the deal. And now, I did this deal with no money and no credit. I have no money. I have no credit. Okay, these resources are burnt up, right? But I have knowledge, and I have time, and I have relationships. I've preached to everybody about time, knowledge, relationships, and money as those resources. I had 3. I look across the table from Victor, and he gives me the mafia, serious real estate investor money tone. And I had never experienced this from him. And I'm by myself. Janae's not with me. She's gone, and it's just he and I across this table as he's about to sign this check. This was the first check that was ever written and given to me to do real estate. It was from my partner, Victor. He looks at me, he tells me straight face, tell me this, tell me that, how is it going to work? What if this doesn't work? And I'm able to tell him the whole plan. Now, I've discussed this plan with him before, but I'm telling him over again while we're sitting at this table, real business, and I can't believe this happened. Victor writes the check. Not only does he write the check, he also handles the construction funds. So now I have both pieces to the puzzle. I have the deal, I have the money, and I have the construction deal. It began to transpire just like I wanted it to. There was some hiccups, and every time there was a hiccup, I could lean on Victor because of his experience of coming and being there and being like, "Hey, Sean, this is real estate. Hey, Sean, I'll get involved here. Hey, Sean, I'll call this." He was there helping me through that process, and I'll be forever grateful for Victor coming into my life and being a part of my life to help me at this critical time of doing real estate investing. It's one of the reasons why now, when I've been able to help others by being the experienced investor at this point in time in my career, by helping someone else being calm. That's why I enjoy helping you all learn about real estate investing, being able to take those next steps, and also being able to hold your hand through that process, because it is very difficult when you don't have no one there.